So I creep. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to our channel.
Thanks for being in cahoots with the Chasteen.
Shantae and Spencer are here, and today we are going to do a video, I guess just talking about us in relationship. I have basic relationship questions. So
welcome to our bed.
This is our bed. You're welcome.
Not
our room.
It's not every day we get to invite people into our bed.
You need to leave.
It's never, right?
Okay, so a common question we get a lot is, how do we meet? And it's simple. We met at work.
Nothing too exciting.
Nothing too exciting.
Except
was hitting on a married woman. We worked at a call center, and basically Spencer saw me, and it was.
I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did see you, and it was like, it's like how it is in the movies for real. Like everything just stops. It's kind of slow motion. For real. I ain't gonna lie. That I will say. I ain't gonna front. Everything stopped. It was slow. I only seen you. And I don't know how many was in your group, but I only seen you.
So he saw me when we were in training.
I did.
I saw him as well in training, but
she noticed me.
I noticed him. Anyway, so I was in the training room, and one of the girls that was in training, I guess she used to work there, and I guess she quit.
She got fired and quit or something. She came back.
And so he, I guess, walked in and was talking to her, and they were having a conversation. And that's the first time I actually remember seeing Spencer. Like, I think that's the first time I saw him. But
that's
before he, no, honest, the first time
I know you seen me before.
I'm telling you, the first time I ever saw you, you were. I was in the training room. I'm so serious. I'm not lying. That's serious. I was in the training room. He with the window, so that the door was open to the break room, and I remember seeing him with a red jacket on, with some red and white shoes, or orange and white shoes. Yes. And you was looking hot, and I was like, he's an Asian guy with a little swag. Okay, I see you, whatever. And then that was it.
Interesting. Yeah, the funny thing, I definitely went in there to get you to notice me. That was number one goal. Number one goal was for you to notice me. I went in there in the intention to talk to her, but I didn't really want to talk to her. That was what was on my mind.
But he didn't talk to me. He was talking to the girl. Conversation was, they would struck a conversation.
The goal wasn't for me to talk to you. The goal was for you just to notice me.
Okay, I noticed you. Noticed him. And then after a while, I mean, I saw him in the building, or because, you know, it was a one floor anyway. It was one floor. But I saw him, but I don't think I noticed, but I didn't notice.
You noticed. You was intrigued.
Anyway, no, I'm going to tell you.
Who is this exotic looking Asian? Okay,
so what I will say is, Spencer actually looks like my aunt's ex-husband. And God rest his soul.
Auntie Rosa.
And Auntie Rosa's husband, he is Haitian, but he actually looks like, for some reason, he looked like he was Korean. And so, I mean, Spencer looks a lot like him. Like, it's kind of weird. And so I remember seeing Spencer, I was like, oh, he looks like my uncle. And then I was just like, oh, okay. And then after that, I remember the second time I saw you, I was walking past to go get a soda.
Yeah. So one of my pickup lines, well, what I thought was a good pickup line, was just to ask me, you know, if you was gonna buy me one, just to spark up a conversation. But then I ain't playing after that, so it kind of went downhill from there. I mean, you was definitely gonna buy me a soda, but then I couldn't accept it because then I was gonna look broke. I mean, I was. So
what was the point of you even doing that?
I didn't have no money anyways at that point in time, but it was just to spark a conversation.
So he says, yeah, I'm at the soda machine, and he's like, so you gonna buy me a soda? And I was like, if you want me to. you want a soda? And he was like, no, I'm good. And I was like, all right.
I didn't want you to think I was broke. I mean, little did I know we was probably making the same amount of money, but
yeah, probably.
Still, that's besides the point. I had an image to withhold.
So that was the second time. And then I would see him more and more often. I think the next time is he brought my glasses to my desk. He says it was lost. I lost my
story. I found a pair of glasses. I went to go inquire who they were. I found someone. I said, hey, do you know who these are? And they're like, oh, I think they're Shantae's. And I was like, oh, bet. I got it. I got to take her from here. So I went to him. I was like, hey, I found these for you, you know. And then, you know, I was hoping my reward would have been, you know, some type of, you know, some. But
some what?
I mean, anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Anyway,
I'm still waiting on my reward.
So he comes and he comes to my desk and he's like, oh, I got these your glasses, and I was like, oh, thank you, whatever. But anyway, long story short, we end up just constantly talking, and I just remember going home and telling my sisters like, oh my God, this is like Asian
Nah, you
guy.
went home and told your sisters, you had a whole conversation about would y'all date somebody with a disability, and you over here telling your sisters, oh, I would date an Asian. Like being Asian is a disability.
I did not.
Like,
no, I was like, you know, it's weird. Like I think he's attractive. I ain't never think I'd be attracted to no Asian man. And they were like, you do understand being Asian isn't a disability. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not saying it's a disability. I've never saw myself dating, not out of my race, because I dated other guys that were like Hispanic guys that I was attracted to, but never an Asian guy. So I was like, interesting, that's weird. And so that was it. So I told them that, and then, you know, things got a little spicy, and right after your birthday.
It was probably before my birthday. Yeah. Spicy like how?
Well, before your birthday, I remember you being like drunk and coming to work drunk or something like that.
Whoa,
or you
allegedly.
Yeah, like he was kind of like drunk or whatever.
Allegedly.
But anyway, he would come to my desk every day. Like Spencer would like.
Oh, that was
like
okay.
Slick stalker.
Okay.
Slick stalker.
What you're referring to was the Super Bowl came to Indiana. A few years ago. I went out to a party for the Super Bowl. Came to work, maybe allegedly a little hungover, and I had to go home. And he was like, you came to me, he was like, what's wrong with you? Why are you, you know, he was acting real concerned, like you was my girl or whatever. It wasn't even like that yet.
Because I asked you, is you alright? You okay?
He was like, oh my God, you should need to go home. Why are you coming to work like this? He was acting real concerned.
So, like I said, what happened after that? Let me think.
Well, after that would have been Valentine's Day. So Super Bowl is usually always the first part of February. So then after that would have been Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day, I had already set you up. I was already messaging you, asking you what you was gonna do on Valentine's Day, seeing what you know. I was setting you up, like I was playing the game, right? And you was like, oh, I ain't gonna do nothing but sitting at home, probably eating donuts.
Eating cake.
At the time, the chocolate donuts was your favorite snack.
Yeah.
So I said, I was like, okay. I was like, oh, I made the joke, and I said, oh, you gonna be eating heart-shaped donuts, you know, for Valentine's Day or whatever. And so boom, bam. Then come Valentine's Day, I got the idea in my head. I said, okay, I know I'm gonna drop some heart-shaped donuts on her desk with a card that say, from your secret admirer. And then it took you a long time. To this day, you probably didn't even know it was me. Because I remember when I put it on your desk, you was asking everybody who it could be. I mean, you was looking alright, you know, at the time. And you might have had a couple suitors, you know what I'm saying? People might have been after you a little bit, you know? So it really could have been anybody. But, you know, I think to this day, I think it took you to this day to find out who, you know, that I actually did it.
First of all, it didn't take me to this day because I knew exactly who it was because I knew your ugly ass handwriting. He had his penmanship is horrid.
I wrote 2 words. There's no way off those 2 words.
Spencer, I knew from the 2 words that it was you. Okay. And I'm
I did.
you know, cause you know, I ain't gonna, let him think that, I already know. So I'm like, oh, you know who, I got a little gift on my desk or whatever. Like, that's funny, cause I'm married or whatever. And I was like, so my husband gonna really, he gonna feel some kind of way. But I automatically knew it was Spencer.
But see, not from my setup, because my setup already was you're gonna be in heart-shaped donuts. I set you up, so you didn't even piece that together. I didn't see how far ahead I thought it.
Anyway, I actually have our first photo. It's probably here. It's a card, and I made a Facebook post, and I was like, "Don't you know I'm married?" Cupcakes, secret from your secret admirer. It was so cute. To this day. For some reason, I don't understand it. I just love Valentine's Day because of that. And it's weird because it's not like I didn't get gifts for my ex that day. It just, I don't know, it was just different. I don't know. I think I just was like interested in Spencer. So
now you gonna be mad if I only buy your heart-shaped cupcake, even though that's how we started.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So, no, I mean, you already know, cake is my thing. So if you get me a whole cake,
which I did.
He does. So, then after that, I think he was stalking me. Found out my real last name. Did research on me.
I think stalker is a bit of a harsh word. I think more of a what do we want to call myself here? Just a researcher. I definitely did my research. I need to know who you were, and I think that's why. Honestly, I think sounds weird, but I honestly think that is why the relationship worked, because I looked into who you were and what the potential was going to be. And so I did my research. I knew who you were. I wanted to make sure you wasn't crazy. I think a lot of people get into relationships and they don't know who the person is. It's because you ain't take the time to one, do the research, and then two, take the time to get to know the person. And in the long run, too. So a lot of times, you get with somebody and they just be crazy, And so I did my research on you. I knew you wasn't crazy. I knew who you potentially hung around, and so I knew that.
How did you know this?
So my theory on social media is the more, and at that time when Facebook just kind of came out, the more people you had as friends, the more in the streets you was gonna be, or the more. Just searching for that fame or searching for that friends. So in my mind, the less friends you had, that's who I want. I want the person with the least amount of friends, because I know you're not about that social media thing. That's how I looked at it. Was I right? Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I didn't have a lot of friends.
Not that you didn't have a lot of friends like that, just a lot of friends on Facebook, because that let me know you wasn't on Facebook like that.
Okay. And then
but then also Facebook helped me learn what your music taste was, movies, books, the stuff that you like, and kind of reading through your posts and seeing what type of stuff that you would post. So I mean, I did my due diligence in who you was as a person, and I kind of those things that I saw on there was like, oh, I enjoy those things as well. Now I kind of played into it because I knew what you like. So I knew you liked the neo soul. I knew you liked the the Sade, the jazz music, and I mean, I didn't know who Sade was at the time, but I knew jazz music for sure. I could get into that and tell you some neo soul and stuff like that. But some of the other things, I kind of played into it to, that way you be like, oh, he's kind of interesting. He got the same kind of interest, because, that's how you do it.
Okay. So Valentine's happens, and then long story short, we ended up separating, my husband and I, and me and Spencer ended up starting getting really serious. So
but this was actually around Mother's Day, actually.
Yeah,
this
Mother's
wasn't
Day.
This definitely took some time. So but after that, I mean, the rest is history. 11 years later, with 7 years of 6 years of marriage.
6 years of marriage. And
after she said she would never marry again or have kids.
I did not want to be married again. I did not want to have no more kids.
Funny thing though about you not wanting to be married was that at one point in time you was like you didn't want to have no title, but then I think the thought of not having a title and us not being together kind of frightened you. Because I mean I knew I wanted to marry you, like that was for sure. Like, that was my goal, number one. You know, and I think your mind like I don't want to get married again. Like all right, it's cool and all, but you know I think in your head you was kind of like, dang, I don't want him to see, you know, be with anybody else. So, you know, you had to lock it down. So
that definitely could have been.
Could have been.
I can see that because, like, I'll be lying if I say that, like, you're not a catch for a woman. Like, you're just like really good. You know what I'm saying? You know how to really cater to your girl. You know how to cater to. I don't know what you're saying. When you want to. Anyway, you know, he cooks, he'll clean, he's loving, he's emotional. Like, he has all of those qualities, sometimes too emotional. However, any girl who got him would be a win. Like, it would be, honestly, to me, she would win. And so, of course, yeah, I wouldn't want my fears of being remarried because, again, I've been married. I was married twice and 2 divorces. So by the time I got with you, I was like, I really like you. You seem like you're gonna be great, but my biggest fear was, you know, going through another divorce. I was not like ready for that at all. And then too, I had 3 kids by the time.
But you also wasn't getting divorced by yourself though, either, you know, because I was married at the time, and I was going through the same thing. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like you had to go at it alone either. You know what I mean? So I think the journey that we went on together played into that. It was like, hey, I'm going through this, I know you're going through this, but we went through it together.
Yeah. So, as you guys caught, he definitely was married as well, and I was married. And he was hitting on a married woman.
Oh, you were single at the time I met you, so.
To this day, he said I was single. Long story short, the dude that I was married to, we were married a few, maybe a month or 2 before me and you met. And you too. We married each other. Both of us were married to other people the same month. So in August.
I want to say mine was in July, like the latter part of July, but I don't remember.
And mine was like early August. And so when I got into training, actually it was probably like a few weeks after I had gotten married. And so by the time January hit, we both was like done with the marriages. Yeah. So
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, a whole nother story. But wait for that tea, because it was a lot of stuff going on. But again, I know we're so far in. If you haven't already done so, if you want to get more tea about me and Spencer and how we truly got together and the drama, go ahead, like and subscribe.
And hit that notification.
Go ahead and do so you guys get notified. Yeah, one thing I'll say too, when me and Spencer got together, I definitely was still in love with my ex. I thought I was in love with him, of course, because we kind of envisioned this person to be a certain person and they don't end up being that person. And so I remember when me and Spencer got together, I guess God knew what he was doing, because he understood that just because I'm like, I like you a lot, I really love our relationship, I still have hurt and pain from the previous relationship, or I still cared about this relationship that I had, that I was dating this guy off and on for about 4 or 5 years. We finally get married, and as soon as we get married, it's trash. Like, throw it all away. It was like, what? Yeah. And I think that too, because I wasn't listening to God, and if I had waited, I would have never even gone that far. I should have listened to, I guess, I don't even want to say it. I should listen to my mama. I don't even want to say it. But, and I do believe that you can marry someone that God has not chosen for you as well. And a lot of times,
I accept that. I think God allows us to go left or right, and still, he still has our back no matter what, right? And so, I think at the time, when I was married, like, I had been in a relationship for, like 5 or 6 years, and it was just, the thought of being married that's what's going to save a relationship. So when you say that, you know, you could definitely marry somebody that you're not supposed to, when God calls for you, you know, we think that in our head, like, okay, marriage solves problems. But that's not what the point of getting married really is.
No.
It's not to solve a problem or for conveniency or tax purposes. You know, marriage is to bond one person and another person and God and all, you know, intertwine into that. So, you know, for me, when I got married, at the first time, it was like, oh, I gotta fix this relationship that I don't know what's going on with it. So the only way to fix it is by marriage. Because when you think about, you know, getting married, you think, well, that's forever, you know.
Of course, believe in the Bible and not you know.
I accept my faults in any, you know, any of my, you know, prior relationships, and you know what I mean. So it's definitely eye opening. I think we had to go through it to get to what we have. You know, would it have been different if we weren't married? You know, I guess we'll never know. But
yeah. So, long story short, we ended up getting divorces and ended up with each other. But it took so much work in regards to like healing for me, because man, my story is so crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it took a lot of healing, and I love that you were there for me while I was going through it. And I remember crying on like Spencer's shoulders, like about my ex, and he's just sitting there, and I'm like, my sisters are like, I know you're not crying about a whole another dude to your new guy friend. I'm just like, I know, but you know, he understood. He was patient. You were like really patient with me. Like, it was crazy. Like, he helped me go through all my emotions and was showing me true love. When I was like scared, because I was like, yo, you're gonna do right what everybody else did to me. You know, you about to play me too.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what love is. Though. Love is patience, right? You know, and I knew, like I said, I mean, I knew the potential that you had. Like, we can call it stalking. I know it's funny to say that, but I knew the potential that you had, and I knew the potential that we could have as as a couple. And so it was more than just, you know, like, because I mean, you look good, like, you fine, but I lost my train of thought because you're so beautiful.
okay, baby.
What was I saying?
I don't know. That was you. You're saying something about the potential.
Oh yeah. So I noticed the potential that we could have as a couple. You know, like a true, like a power couple. You know, and
You saw that then?
yeah, like I did, because otherwise I wouldn't have stayed. You know, like it is a scary feeling of being alone. You know, but I know for me, like I grew up basically, like my sister, she's 16 years older than me, so it's not like I'm an only child, but raised as an only child to the degree of, you know, like you grew up with your sisters, right? Like you guys are all the same age. I grew up by myself, so being alone was kind of natural for me, and so, but I just seen potential in what we could build and what we could have and what type of life we could, you know what I'm saying? Like we really could have. Like we could be really happy together if we both are patient with each other and we both want this. I felt like we had the same goals in mind. I feel like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I think what works so well is that when I say opposites attract, it's you know, to a certain degree. Like certain things that, you know, I might be a little more emotional than you, but I think you need that emotional side of a relationship, you know. But I also need the toughness side too, because if you have two emotional people in a relationship, it ain't never gonna work. Cause y'all always just gonna be super emotional. You have to have somebody that's, you know, somewhat emotional and somewhat, you know, level-headed. So I think that's what plays into our relationship too, is that you balanced me so well that that's what I needed, and I didn't know what, like, you know, like love was, you know. And so I think, you know, I know for sure I saw potential in you and potential in us at the same time. So, you know,
yeah, that's crazy, because I don't know. I remember there was a moment where I was like kind of like struggling with whether or not I wanted to be with Spencer or to actually work it out with my ex. And I remember I was just like, I went to sister and I was like, I think, I can't do this. We can't talk because, I'm married, and I think we both should try again. And I was like, I want to give it my all this last time. Mind you, I said my all the last two times. And I was just like, I want to give my all and, try one more time. And maybe, this, we could be friends, but it's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? I remember like kind of breaking it off in the car that day.
Yeah, no, I think my thought was, if we not gonna be together, we can't be friends. Yeah, there is no friends in that. Like, I knew exactly what I wanted, and if I can't have that, I didn't want no parts of you. And not in a bad sense, but it was just like, look, like, I'm going to try you, like, and I will tempt you. You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to be that person. So if you're gonna work it out, cool, we gotta cut it clean off then, because otherwise I will try you. You know what I mean? So I remember the conversation we had. You was gonna move to I think it was like Virginia, and I was like, yeah, for sure, definitely do that, but we gotta cut it then, like cut it. And so I was willing to do that. And I guess it's so funny because I never thought about it until just now when I say like you gotta let something go, and if it comes back, because I always in my head like I've never had to been in a situation where you've had to let me go or I've had to let you go to see if we come back to each other, but we've already done that. So
from the beginning.
Yeah, that's weird that I was just thinking about that just now.
Yeah, I remember like there was that moment I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna try it again. And then of course there was situations that happened to where I was like, oh heck no, I can't do this no more. Like it was in, and I remember calling him. Like, was it literally? I think it was like literally the next day. It was the next day, and I was like, "Oh, we're done. We're done." And Smith was like, "Well, I'll be there," And then it was it. That was it. It was all she wrote. I was done.
For sure.
So I'm like, for me and Spencer, I remember like my first marriage he was abusive. He was anger issues, just and I have my 3 kids from my first marriage, and then the second marriage was more so not that he was abusive, and I think he was so different from my first husband. He was calm, he was patient, sweet, and so I thought that's all I needed, despite the cheating and the lying and the connivingness. I kind of like try to, I guess, ignore, ignore, because he was just, he was different. I was just like, okay, as long as he's not being abusive, I remember going through that at that age. So when women talk about, being an abusive relationship and going, and then, finding the love later, and how it plays in I guess it plays a big part. All that hurt and stuff does play in regards to who's your potential or the guy you meet after that. Because I'm telling you, I went from such a really bad relationship to a really stupid relationship. So it was crazy. So
that's life though too. You go through the relationship that you go through. I think the important thing was that you knew exactly what you wanted after these 2 relationships. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's a learning curve, I guess.
It taught me a lot, because I knew what I was and I wasn't going to deal with anymore. I definitely put my foot down, and I had to create boundaries for myself. Like, no, you're not finna play, because the second relationship, it was a lot of abandonment issues that I felt. So I knew like, oh, we're gonna be together. Granted, there's moments where I'm like, Spencer, I'm about to, don't, oh boy, you pissing me off now. And I get those moments, but shocking, I'm just so blessed that we've never gone through anything, and we pray that we continue to be strong as we are, and we've never gone through a breakup.
No, I'm not, but I told you from the beginning though, like, I'm not doing these little break things. I'm not doing that. If we're gonna break, then we're gonna break. And I don't want to be an on and off relationship. I think from the beginning, I think we both told each other, what we wanted. And, you know what I mean? And I know as we grow, we're still kind of telling each other how we want things, or
because we're constantly changing. We're still changing.
And so, and not just like, it's not just us changing, but the things around us change.
Yeah.
And so, I don't want to say that because change can be a scary thing in a relationship too. So if somebody changes too drastically, then it's like, well, you don't act like how you used to act, when you first got together. And so, my goal in the relationship was I wanted to start like I wanted to finish. And obviously I want to build upon that too, but when I say start like I want to finish, like I'm going to start now treating you like, like a queen, like I'm going to do everything for you. I'm going to continue to do that because, you get these people in the relationship, you see it all the time. Like, oh, you wasn't, the first 3 months after that, then they start acting, they try to show you the truth, the true selves. But I think, I wanted to show you who I was, because that's who I am naturally. I'm just naturally that type of person. But just always constantly just remind myself, like, okay, well, I started like this, I'm going to finish the relationship, I want to continue to be that person that I was for you then, because obviously when you fall in love with somebody, you fall in love with the person that you met, And so it would be wrong for me to switch, you know what I mean? To switch up on you, because then I didn't portray myself to be who I was, or whatever. So, but yeah.
Do you feel like, well, I'll say this, do you feel like it was a wise decision to wait? Or to even be with me? Do you feel like you could change anything?
Would I change anything?
Yeah.
No. No, I think everything happened like it was supposed to. I don't think there's anything that I would necessarily change. I think you knew that you liked me. I knew that you liked me. So you know what I'm saying? So, no. I think no.
Well, I definitely believe, like, God, it was so funny because when I think back about that moment when I kind of like broke it off with you and I was telling you I wanted to work it out, and how fast, quickly God confirmed that dude wasn't meant for me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, so if we're gonna make this thing work, and not to say you go from one relationship to jump into another relationship immediately, but Spencer was definitely exactly everything that I remember praying to God for. Like, I was like, oh my God, he's kind, he's so sweet, but I still kind of was like, but I still care about this other guy, and I still, love him, but one day he'll change. And Spencer was already kind of like the guy that I had, like he had everything. I was like, but am I wrong? For even caring about Spencer when I got a whole husband?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, God ain't gonna bless this, and it's so funny because I truly believe, everybody's situation, everybody has, different situations. I don't believe that, like, a lot of people say, oh, how y'all met is how y'all gonna end, in a sense. Once you cheat,
once you're a cheater, always a cheater type thing.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that we kind of grew and have been so open with each other. Yeah. Like, about everything. I'm just very open. I don't, when it comes to like how I'm feeling, I don't lie about who I care about. I tell if I, you know me, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm straight up with it. I can't, like, and I'll tell him, like, I remember telling him, like, yeah, no, I still love my ex, I still care. And he just kind of was like, oh, okay, well, and then eventually I felt like how he treated me, how you treated me changed everything. And I was like, you just didn't give up on us.
No, that's good. And to that point, they always say, like, the grass isn't greener on the other side, but as we know, the grass is greener when you water it. It's funny also that you say that I was, the person for you, because at that time I was getting a little bit closer to God, but I prayed to God 2 things. So, God, I want a dark skin, short girl. That's what I asked for. I was very
You asked for 3 things.
What was the third thing?
I'm not saying it. You the one who had the prayer with him.
What was the third thing? I only asked for 2 things. And left-handed. I said, God, I need a dark skin, short, left-handed woman.
That's like mad specific.
I promise you though that God, this is
okay. But why the left hand?
That's what I liked. I wanted to be left-handed, but no. So I was like, I just find it intriguing somebody to be left-handed. Like, I just do. And so, so like even some of the greatest, like some of my favorite, athletes that are left-handed, Michael Vick, Tayshaun Prince, left-handers, right? And so
you pay attention to stuff like that?
Yeah, at that time, like those were the things, like I was like, oh, left-handed, like these left-handed people. So I said, God, short, dark skin, left-handed.
Well, I'm definitely short, 4'11". I'm definitely black as hell.
Left-handed.
And I'm definitely left-handed.
So I think that was the other thing too. I guess maybe I should have said that from the jump. That's the other potential part. Was like I asked God for these specific things, and He gave them to me. So I knew that that's what God was giving to me. It was like, hey, all right, I got you. Here it is.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Ultimately, God definitely gave me exactly what I wanted. I cannot, be happier, where I'm at. It was a rough road to get to where we're at, but I'm thankful that you took the chance and married me, and now we are 6 years on marriage, and 11 years down and forever to go. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. We truly, truly, truly appreciate it. Hopefully this has helped somebody out there. Put in the comments what you guys might like to see next. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on them notifications.
There you go.
We're going to see y'all next time.
Bye. But I was nervous, I'm used to people talking, the typical stereotype is that all, Asian men have small pee-pees. I'm feeling him. If this whole sex thing doesn't work, if it don't work, then we not gonna work.